Hello and welcome to iPhone Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Dune, which released in UK cinemas on October 21st and US cinemas and on HBO Max on October 22nd. I'm Cameron, that's Jordi Steele. He's going to tell you a little about the movie. Did it that time.
Paul Atreides. Oh, you did it after the sixth take. Paul Atreides' life changes forever when his father is named Faith ruler over Arrakis, a desert planet inhabited by giant sandworms, a highly sought-after drug, and rebellion.
The Emperor asks us to bring peace to Arrakis. House Atreides accepts.
I know you. There's something awakening in my mind.
You need to face your fears.
Come with me. You need to be ready. You've never met Harkonnens before. They're not human, they're brutal.
The Duke's son sees too much.
This is my Dune. Kill them all. God in heaven.
Get everything with guns off the ground. Go!
This is an extermination. They're picking my family off one by one.
Let's fight like demons.
What a film.
I would describe this film as majestic. It was everything I hoped it would be. I'm satisfied. I stood, I cheered, I laughed, I cried, I cheered.
I punched the air.
I punched the air. It was absolutely everything. We've got to stop doing the hymn.
The hymn.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this film.
Yes, I think it's a technical masterpiece. I think it looks incredible.
Can't wait for the second one.
Yes, basically, my thoughts boil down to I can't wait for the second one because
So you can watch the whole film.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it stands on its own at all as a movie. I think it is very much. Sure, it left me wanting more. I was very excited to see that they announced the sequel yesterday. I was really really happy about that. I just don't think this works as a film on its own. It is definitely. I just want to see the final piece, if that makes sense. Like, it just.
Yes.
For me, it didn't have a beginning, middle, and end. It was just beginning and lots of beginning and beginning and beginning and beginning, and then we get to the middle, and it stops.
Yes.
And it's just that was the only thing that really annoyed me and really kind of took me out of it because it's slow, and I wasn't bothered by the fact it was slow. I love Denis Villeneuve. I love Blade Runner 2049. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. But it just is slow and slow and slow, and there's no payoff in this 2.5 hours. But there will be payoff in the next 2.5 hours, if that makes sense. That's basically why I'm so somewhat cold on it, because of that, really. Because of the fact there's no end, there's no arc, there's no self-contained story like most films. I get this as a part one. I understand that completely. But Infinity War was going to be a part one first, and that sort of had a beginning, middle, and end. It's a weird comparison I get, but I mean, it's not like a normal film where if it knows it's going to have a sequel, it still has a self-contained story in the first one. But this one, yeah, that's basically my only annoyance, I guess, with it. The only kind of thing I don't like about it. I've been getting more and more hot on it as the days have gone on since I've seen it. I actually might go and watch it again at some point because I did like it so much. I'm actually considering going to see it again quite soon.
Yeah, I would argue that there is a sort of self-contained arc in that the main character, Paul Atreides, he sees visions, but it turns out that sometimes these visions don't come true, and especially near the end, he does something that sort of goes against what the visions were telling him, and that sort of was his arc of. I'm always following these prophecies. Now I can forge my own future for the sequels. But yeah, you mentioned Blade Runner 2049. I would like to remind people that Blade Runner 2049 ended with a setup for a sequel that
We'll never get.
might not come. That we'll never get.
We'll never
Hopefully, because like it is a perfect film. Just like we don't need a sequel. But yeah, it also doesn't beat Blade 2049 in cinematography, but that's because you can't beat Roger Deakins. But it does well in inspiring a good amount of awe with its depiction of scale. Denis Villeneuve is always very good with scale. So yeah, it does its job well with depicting.
Oh,
it's a world full of giant things.
You'll get immersed in it.
men.
I mean, you didn't see it in IMAX, did you? You just saw it in standard.
I did not know.
No, so I saw it in IMAX, and I will say I was completely immersed in it. This is just a film that is, and I know everyone's been banging on about it, and it's so I'm actually tired myself of hearing people say it, but it's a film that was made to be seen in the cinemas. You know, they've hammered that point home, and I know why it's annoying, but I also see why they're saying it. Like, if you go and watch that in a cinema, you're going to be like, yeah, you're having a better time than watching it on your TV. You can have as a good of a sound system or whatever as you want at home. You're not replicating that. You're not replicating IMAX. You know what I mean? That's not happening. Because it's just the way that they are dwarfed by these massive sandworms, these massive like landing crafts, these just spaceships the size of cities. It is just mental. It's crazy stuff. And then you've got the sound as well. That is some of the most immersive surround sound I've ever heard in my entire life. That is just you're just engulfed in it for 2.5 hours. And that is just what I love about his filmmaking, especially of recently. He's made smaller films, but from Arrival onwards, basically, he's been making films that are just massive and brilliant. And I love Denis so much. Villeneuve is just excellent.
Yeah.
He's my new Nolan. you know?
Christopher Nolan, high praises from Christopher Nolan, saying that it is peak cinema. Go into this film expecting to experience a new world. They are establishing a new world because Warner Brothers desperately want this to be the new Star Wars, but also Star Wars was inspired by Dune heavily, and there's a lot of stuff that they don't even go into in the film. There's so much that they really focus on just everything that is important to Paul's story. But yeah, it's going to draw comparisons, obviously, because Star Wars was inspired by Dune. It's got mind tricks. It has both franchises have an emperor. Even though Sidious was more so inspired by the Baron Harkonnen, who is the main antagonist of this film, played by Stellan Skarsgård fantastically, who plays him more like what's he called, Marlon Brando's Colonel in Apocalypse Now. He's scary, and it's fantastic. But yeah, there's going to be everyone in this film, I think, is fantastic in their role. Oscar Isaac as Leto Atreides.
All 6 minutes of Zendaya.
Yeah, I mean, she is the Luke Skywalker of Dune, and yeah, even Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho, one of the weirdest,
have the stupidest names. I'm so sorry, but they all have the stupidest names going. The fact that the protagonist of this movie is called Paul, though.
Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker has become cool. This guy's called
Han
Paul.
Solo. Paul Atreides.
Paul.
It's
His
human.
name is Paul.
It's Greek. It's biblical.
His name is Paul.
He is the hero of man. Paul.
Jordi. His name is Paul. He's not fat, 40 and bald. He's not a Paul. Timothy Chalamet is not a Paul.
He's the Kwisatz Haderach. Anyway, on with the outro.
Have you seen Dune? I know a lot of general audiences were highly disappointed with this movie, so maybe you enjoyed it, maybe you didn't enjoy it. Let us know in the comments below. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Facebook, like the video, like the page. That'd be awesome. We're on Twitter at Ohio Films, at CamsOG, at Real Jordi Steele. He's not frozen. I can see him shaking. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.